The morning sky over Earth's Unified Defense Command was clear and blue when the alarms began to sound. Admiral James Wilson had just taken his first sip of coffee when red lights flashed across every screen in the command center. Multiple FTL signatures detected beyond Mars, sir. Lieutenant Mark Davis's voice carried across the suddenly silent room. Count is 15 ships. No, 20, 30. They're still coming through. Wilson set down his coffee cup, his weathered face remaining calm despite the storm brewing in his blue eyes. At 60 years old, he had spent 4 decades preparing Earth for this moment. Humanity had long suspected they weren't alone in the universe, but now that suspicion was becoming reality. "Show me," he ordered, his deep voice steady. The main screen lit up with a tactical display of the solar system. Dots of light appeared beyond Mars' orbit, each representing a ship emerging from faster-than-light travel. The ships arranged themselves in a perfect formation that spoke of military precision. "Get me the Security Council," Wilson commanded, "and launch our observation drones. I want eyes on those ships." Within minutes, the first images arrived. The alien vessels gleamed like polished chrome in the sunlight, each one massive enough to dwarf Earth's largest spacecraft. Their designs were elegant but clearly built for war, with visible weapon emplacements that made Earth's most advanced weaponry look like toys. The Security Council connected just as a transmission came through from the alien fleet. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, sir," Davis reported. "The message is in English." Wilson nodded. Of course they'd learned Earth's languages. Any civilization capable of FTL travel would have been watching humanity for years. The main screen shifted to show a humanoid figure. It looked almost human, except for the silver sheen of its skin and eyes that seemed to contain swirling galaxies. The being wore an ornate uniform covered in symbols that probably denoted high rank. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, "I am High Commander Vale of the Galactic Imperial Fleet. We have come to offer Earth the prestigious opportunity to join our empire as a protected world." Wilson exchanged glances with the Security Council members on their screens. This was the moment that would define humanity's future. "I am Admiral James Wilson of Earth's Unified Defense Command," he responded, standing tall. "We appreciate your offer and welcome the chance for peaceful dialogue." The alien commander's expression didn't change, but something in those galaxy eyes hardened. "You misunderstand, Admiral. This is not a negotiation. Earth has been classified as a Level 3 developing world. According to Imperial law, such worlds require our guidance and protection." Wilson's jaw tightened. "Earth is a sovereign planet with its own laws and governance. We're happy to discuss diplomatic relations as equals, but we don't require protection. Your technology level is centuries behind ours," Vale stated flatly. "Your ships can barely reach your own moon. You have no FTL capability. You are, by definition, a species in need of Imperial oversight." The Security Council members began typing furiously on their tablets, sending messages to their respective nations. Wilson could almost feel the wheels of Earth's military machinery beginning to turn. "We respectfully disagree with your assessment," Wilson replied. "Earth would be happy to establish trade relations or cultural exchange programs, but we will maintain our independence." Vale's expression showed the first hint of emotion, something between amusement and pity. "You will have 3 Earth days to reconsider your position. The Empire's protection comes with many benefits: advanced technology, medical knowledge, access to the Galactic Trade Network. The alternative is less pleasant." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the command center in tense silence. "Orders, sir," Davis asked quietly. Wilson turned to address both his command staff and the Security Council members. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 days to prepare Earth for either the biggest diplomatic breakthrough or the biggest fight in human history." He paused, his expression grim but determined. "And something tells me we should prepare for the fight." As the command center burst into activity, Wilson looked back at the tactical display, showing the Imperial ships. Humanity had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and its own destructive nature. They weren't about to bow down to some empire that thought them primitive. The next 3 days would change everything, but not in the way the Empire expected. The 3 days following first contact were the busiest in human history. In the main conference room of Earth's Defense Command, Admiral Wilson sat with the world's top leaders, watching Imperial Ambassador Lord Rex pace before them. Unlike Commander Vale, Rex wore flowing robes of deep purple, his silver skin almost glowing under the room's lights. "You don't seem to understand your position," Rex said, his galaxy eyes flashing with irritation. "The Empire protects over 10,000 worlds. Earth would be but a tiny addition to our mighty civilization." President Thompson of the North American Alliance leaned forward. "Perhaps you could explain exactly what this protection involves." Rex smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Simple. We provide advanced technology, medical breakthroughs, and access to galactic markets. In return, Earth provides resources and accepts Imperial guidance in all major decisions." "And military control?" Wilson asked quietly. "For your own safety, of course. Imperial ships would patrol your system, nothing more." Dr. Emily Green, Earth's leading xenobiologist, had been quietly analyzing data on her tablet. She stood up suddenly, her face pale. "Admiral Wilson, sir, you need to see this." She transferred her findings to the main screen. The room fell silent as images appeared showing dozens of worlds, once beautiful planets now stripped of resources, their populations working in massive mining operations and factories. "These are other protected worlds," Dr. Green explained, her voice shaking slightly. "Our deep space telescopes found them. The Empire's protection is just another word for exploitation." Rex's smile vanished. "Those images are clearly propaganda. The Empire brings prosperity." "We also captured your probe," Wilson interrupted, nodding to Dr. Green. She pulled up another set of data, showing the Imperial scanner they'd caught trying to infiltrate Earth's defense network. The ambassador's silver face darkened. "Impossible. Our stealth technology isn't as good as you think," Wilson finished. "Humanity has a few surprises of its own. Your primitive technology shouldn't have detected." "That's your biggest mistake," President Thompson cut in. "You keep underestimating us because we don't have your fancy faster-than-light drives. But humans have something special. We adapt. We innovate. We survive." Dr. Green displayed more data. "Your probe also revealed something interesting about human biology. We adapt faster than any species in your empire. Our rate of technological advancement is almost triple the galactic average." For the first time, Rex looked uncertain. "This changes nothing. You have two choices: accept Imperial protection or face complete isolation. No trade, no diplomatic relations, no contact with any civilized worlds." Wilson stood up slowly. "We choose option 3. "There is no option 3. "There is now." Wilson pressed a button, and the room's windows cleared, revealing the view outside. Hundreds of ships were rising from hidden bases around the globe. Earth's new defense fleet, built in secret over decades as humanity prepared for this moment. "Impossible," Rex whispered. "Your technology level is exactly what we wanted you to think it was," Wilson said. "While you were scanning our visible military assets, you missed what we were building underground, underwater, and on the dark side of the moon." President Thompson stood as well. "As of this moment, Earth's nations are officially united under the Earth Defense Alliance. We will not be joining your empire. We will not be isolated. And we will not be threatened." Rex's face contorted with rage. "This is your final warning. Accept Imperial rule or face the consequences." "No," Wilson said simply. "This is your warning. Earth is not some helpless primitive world you can bully into submission. We've faced extinction-level events before and survived. We've fought wars that should have destroyed us and emerged stronger. If you want Earth, you'll have to fight every one of us." The ambassador stormed out of the room, his robe swirling behind him. As the doors closed, Wilson turned to the assembled leaders. "They'll be back with their fleet," he said. "But now we know what we're fighting for. Not just Earth's freedom, but the freedom of every world they've enslaved." Dr. Green looked up from her tablet. "Sir, the Ghost Fleet is in position. Operation Shadowfall is ready to begin." Wilson nodded grimly. "Then let's show the Empire why they should have left Earth alone." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Emily Green stood before a massive screen showing Earth's newest defense system. Next to her, Admiral Wilson watched as countless dots of light represented their hidden satellites and defense platforms moving into position throughout the solar system. "The quantum shield network is ready," she said, her tired eyes bright with excitement. "We've done in 3 weeks what the Empire thought would take centuries." Wilson nodded, studying the display. "Explain it to me again." "In simple terms, the Empire's ships use standard energy shields, like a wall of force." She pulled up a simulation. "But our quantum shields are different. They don't just block attacks. They predict them. The shield is already where it needs to be before the enemy weapon fires. Because we reversed engineered their tech." "No," she smiled. "Because we thought differently. The Empire's been using the same shield technology for 1,000 years. They never imagined it could work any other way. But humans, we look at problems from new angles." Alarm suddenly blared through the facility. Lieutenant Davis rushed in, tablet in hand. "Sir, the Ghost Fleet just intercepted Imperial communications. They're gathering a massive force, over 300 ships." Wilson didn't look surprised. "How long?" 2 days at most." "Perfect." Wilson pressed a button on the console. "This is Admiral Wilson to all Earth Defense Alliance forces. Operation Steel Sky begins now. I repeat, Steel Sky is go." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden strength began to reveal itself. Asteroid bases that had appeared to be simple mining operations opened to reveal shipyards. The dark side of the moon lit up with activity as underground facilities activated. Even Mars's polar ice caps concealed weapon platforms that now rose to the surface. In orbit, Earth's first true space battleships emerged from their camouflaged positions. They were smaller than Imperial vessels, but packed with innovations the Empire had never seen. Their hulls were covered in light-absorbing material that made them nearly invisible to sensors. Their weapons combined Earth's nuclear technology with reversed engineered alien tech. "Ghost Fleet reporting in," Davis announced. "All ships in position near Jupiter's orbit." Dr. Green pulled up another display. "The defense grid is at 90% coverage. Mercury stations are online. Venus platforms responding. Mars defense ring is green across the board." Wilson watched it all with calm determination. "And our special project. The FTL drive is ready," Dr. Green said proudly. "We didn't copy their design. We made something better. Our ships can jump faster and more precisely than anything the Empire has." "How's that possible?" "Their ships punch through space like a bullet through paper. Ours, we fold space itself. It's like knowing a shortcut they never found." More reports flooded in. The automated factories on the moon had finished another batch of fighter craft. The quantum shield network had achieved full coverage of Earth and all major bases. The Ghost Fleet stealth systems were working perfectly. Imperial scout ships passed right by them without detecting a thing. "Sir," Davis called out, "President Thompson is asking for an update." Wilson straightened his uniform. "Put her through." The president's face appeared on screen. "Admiral, are we ready?" "As ready as we'll ever be," Wilson replied. "The Empire thinks they're coming to punish a primitive world. Instead, they're flying into the most advanced defense network ever built." "The other nations are all reporting ready," Thompson said. "China's underground bases are fully armed. Russia's Arctic fleet is in position. The African Alliance's satellite network is operational." "Good." Wilson looked at the tactical display one last time. Because we only get one shot at this. If we can bloody their nose hard enough in the first battle, other worlds might see that the Empire isn't invincible. Dr. Green's console beeped. Admiral, Imperial fleet is beginning their jump sequence. They'll be here in 6 hours. Wilson's face hardened. Send word to all commands. This is not a drill. Earth Defense Plan Delta is now active. He turned to his staff. They expect to find a helpless planet. Let's show them what humanity can do when we stand together. The next 6 hours would determine the fate not just of Earth, but of every world under Imperial control. Humanity was about to teach the galaxy a lesson about underestimating primitive species. The Imperial fleet appeared beyond Mars' orbit in a flash of light that briefly outshone the sun. 300 warships, each one larger than Earth's biggest cities, moved into attack formation. Their golden hulls gleamed in the sunlight as they prepared to teach humanity a lesson about defying the Empire. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Wilson watched calmly. Right where we wanted them, he said quietly. Signal the Ghost Fleet. Lieutenant Davis nodded. Ghost Fleet acknowledges. Operation Shadow Strike is go. Near Jupiter, hidden in the gas giant's magnetic field, Earth's stealth ships powered up their weapons. The Empire had no idea they were about to be caught in humanity's trap. The Imperial commander's face appeared on the main screen. It was Vale again, looking smug. This is your final chance to surrender, Admiral. You cannot hope to resist our might. Wilson allowed himself a small smile. You know what your biggest mistake was, Commander? You never asked why Earth developed so many different weapons over its history. We weren't just fighting each other. We were preparing. Vale laughed. Preparing? Your primitive weapons can it. Now, Wilson commanded. The quantum shield network activated. A shimmering web of energy appeared throughout the solar system, cutting off the Imperial fleet's retreat. At the same moment, the Ghost Fleet opened fire from behind. Vale's eyes widened as his rear ships exploded. Impossible. There were no ships behind us. Ghost Fleet, execute Pattern Alpha, Wilson ordered. Mars Defense Grid, you have weapons free. Earth Fleet, launch all fighters. The space around the Imperial Armada erupted with activity. Earth's smaller but faster ships darted between the massive Imperial vessels, their quantum-enhanced weapons cutting through enemy shields. Fighters poured out of hidden bases on Mars and the Moon, swarming the larger ships like angry bees. Sir, Dr. Green called out. They're adapting their shields to our weapons. Just as we expected, Wilson replied. Execute Phase 2. The quantum shield network pulsed, and suddenly half the Imperial fleet's weapons stopped working. Their energy beams hit the shields and vanished into pocket dimensions, emerging harmlessly in deep space. What is this sorcery? Vale demanded, his composure cracking. These defenses are beyond your technology level. No, Wilson corrected him. They're beyond your imagination. While your empire spent 1,000 years doing things the same way, humanity kept trying new ideas, new ways to fight, new ways to defend. The battle raged across the solar system. Imperial ships, designed for fighting other large vessels, struggled to target Earth's nimble fighters. The Ghost Fleet struck from impossible angles, using Jupiter's radiation to mask their movements. Admiral, Davis shouted. They're launching their main weapon. A massive energy beam shot from Vale's flagship, heading straight for Earth. It was powerful enough to crack a planet's crust. Perfect, Wilson said. Dr. Green. She pressed a button, and the quantum shields around Earth shifted. The beam hit them, vanished. What? Vale gasped. Where did it go? His answer came seconds later as his own beam emerged from a quantum portal behind his fleet, destroying 20 of his ships. That's not possible, Vale stuttered. You're supposed to be primitive. Maybe it's time you updated your database, Wilson replied. Earth Defense Fleet, execute final attack pattern. Show them what humanity can do. Earth's ships moved in perfect coordination, their quantum weapons firing from multiple dimensions at once. Imperial ships found their own weapons being turned against them. The Ghost Fleet struck their engines while their shields were focused forward. Within an hour, it was over. Half the Imperial fleet was destroyed. Another quarter had surrendered. The rest fled, their retreating ships carrying news of an impossible defeat back to the Empire. In the command center, the staff cheered as Vale's ship raised a white flag of surrender. "Sir," Davis reported, "we're getting signals from other systems. News of the battle is spreading. 3 Imperial Protectorate worlds have already declared independence." Wilson nodded, satisfied. "Send word to our ships. Good job, everyone. But stay alert. This was just the first battle." He turned to Dr. Green. "How soon can we adapt our quantum drives for deep space?" She smiled. "You want to take the fight to them?" "No," Wilson replied. "I want to free their enslaved worlds, and I think we just showed them we know how." The Empire had come expecting to find an easy target. Instead, they'd awakened a force that would change the galaxy forever. 3 months after Earth's victory over the Imperial fleet, Admiral Wilson stood on the bridge of humanity's newest ship, the EDS Prometheus. Through the view screen, he watched distant stars streak by as they traveled through folded space. "Status report," he called out to his crew. "Quantum drive running at full power." Lieutenant Davis responded from his new position as ship's navigator. "We're moving twice as fast as any Imperial ship can follow." Dr. Green looked up from her science station. "Our new stealth systems are working perfectly. As far as Imperial sensors are concerned, we don't exist." The Prometheus was humanity's masterpiece, a ship that combined everything they'd learned about Imperial technology with Earth's unique innovations. Its quantum shields could adapt to any weapon. Its stealth systems bent light and gravity around the hull. But its greatest weapon was its crew's creativity. "Message from the Ghost Fleet," Davis announced. "They found another slave world, the Imperial mining colony on Kepler 186. Wilson nodded. This would be their 3rd liberation mission. "Show me." The screen displayed a rocky planet where thousands of enslaved aliens worked in deep mines. Imperial guards watched from towers, their weapons ready. "Same plan as before?" Dr. Green asked. "With some improvements," Wilson smiled. "Operation Prometheus is go." The Prometheus dropped out of quantum space near the planet's moon. As they watched, Imperial patrol ships passed right by them, their sensors blind to Earth's advanced stealth technology. "Launch our drones," Wilson ordered. Hundreds of small devices, no bigger than footballs, shot out from the ship. They carried Earth's greatest weapon against the Empire, the truth. Each drone contained videos of Earth's victory, proof that the Empire could be beaten. "Imperial communications are going dark," Davis reported. "Our quantum viruses are in their network." Wilson turned to his tactical officer. "Start the music." The sound of human battle songs filled the Imperial communication channels. Guards looked up in confusion as their radios played ancient songs of freedom and revolution. In the mines below, slaves stopped working as hope filled their hearts for the first time in generations. "Ghost Fleet reports ready," Davis said. "Freedom Fleet in position." Wilson stood tall. "Begin Phase 2. The Prometheus decloaked right above the main Imperial base, its quantum weapons already firing. At the same time, the Ghost Fleet appeared from hidden positions around the planet. But they weren't just attacking. They were delivering weapons to the slaves, breaking open armories, and disrupting Imperial control systems. "Sir," Dr. Green called out excitedly, "I'm detecting something unusual. The locals, their bodies are adapting to use the weapons even faster than we predicted. They're learning as quickly as humans do." Wilson watched as the slaves rose up against their Imperial guards. Earth's ships provided cover fire, but the real fighting was happening on the ground. Years of oppression had given the slaves all the motivation they needed. They just needed a chance to fight back. "Imperial reinforcements approaching," Davis warned. 3 heavy cruisers. "Perfect," Wilson replied. "Show them our new trick." As the Imperial ships arrived, the Prometheus seemed to flicker and vanish. The enemy cruisers fired at where it had been, but their shots passed through empty space. Then the Prometheus reappeared behind them, its quantum weapons striking from angles that should have been impossible. "They still haven't figured it out," Dr. Green said proudly. "We're not just using stealth. We're actually moving through quantum space in combat. They're fighting us in 3 dimensions while we move in 5. Within hours, it was over. The Imperial forces surrendered or fled. The liberated slaves cheered as Earth's ships landed, bringing medical supplies, food, and hope. "Message from the rebel leader," Davis said. They're asking to join the Earth Defense Alliance." Wilson smiled. "Tell them yes, and tell them we know of 12 more worlds waiting to be freed." As the crew prepared for their next mission, Wilson looked at the star map showing Imperial territory. The Empire had ruled through fear for 1,000 years, but they'd never faced anything like humanity before. Earth wasn't just fighting for itself anymore. It was bringing revolution to the stars. "Set course for the next target," he ordered. "The Empire thought they could break humanity. Instead, we're going to break their chains." The Imperial Palace on Capital World shook as another explosion rocked the city. Inside the Grand Council chamber, Imperial leaders argued as their empire crumbled around them. 15 more systems have declared independence," one counselor shouted, "all following Earth's example." High Commander Vale, now in charge of Imperial security, slammed his fist on the table. "How are they doing this? We've stationed fleets at every major world." A hologram flickered to life in the center of the room, showing Admiral Wilson's face. The Imperial leaders jumped back in shock. Nobody should have been able to hack their secure communications. "Hello, Commander," Wilson said calmly. "Having trouble keeping your empire together?" "How dare you?" Vale sputtered. "This chamber is protected by your best security," Wilson finished. "The same security that didn't stop us from broadcasting the truth to every world in your empire. The videos of Earth's victory, proof of your lies, evidence of your crimes. On thousands of worlds, slaves and servants watched smuggled recordings of Earth's ships defeating the Imperial fleet. They saw quantum shields reflecting the Empire's strongest weapons. They watched human fighters run circles around Imperial cruisers. The people of Earth have a long history of overthrowing tyrants," Wilson continued. "We've learned a lot about revolution over the centuries, and we're happy to share that knowledge." Vale's face darkened with rage. "You think a few victories mean anything? We still control the largest fleet in the galaxy." "Do you?" Wilson smiled. "Lieutenant Davis, show them." The hologram changed to show the Imperial First Fleet. As they watched, half the ships suddenly turned their weapons on the other half. "Impossible," Vale gasped. "Those crews are completely loyal." "Are they?" Dr. Green's voice came through the transmission. "Or did they just need to know they had a choice?" All across Imperial space, the revolution was spreading faster than anyone could have predicted. Earth hadn't just shared weapons. They'd shared ideas, hope, the belief that change was possible. "Your crew members have seen how we treat our people," Wilson explained. "No slaves, no forced labor, everyone free to choose their own path. You'd be surprised how appealing that is to people who've spent their lives following orders." The hologram shifted again, showing scenes from different worlds. Freed slaves learning to use Earth's quantum technology. Former Imperial soldiers teaching others how to fight back. Trade ships carrying supplies and weapons through secret quantum corridors that Imperial ships couldn't detect. 6 hours ago, Wilson continued, the Centauri sector declared independence. The Orion worlds followed an hour later. The Carina Alliance formed just 10 minutes ago. Vale tried to speak, but another counselor cut him off. "How many?" he asked Wilson. "How many worlds have joined you?" "We're not asking anyone to join us," Wilson corrected. "We're helping them become free. After that, they'd make their own choices." He paused. But if you're asking how many have chosen freedom over imperial rule, about 40% of your empire so far. Alarms blared through the council chamber. A guard rushed in, his silver face pale with fear. The defense fleet, half our ships are deserting. They're saying something about joining the Free Systems Alliance. Wilson nodded. That would be the new coalition of independent worlds. Earth is a founding member, along with the first planets we helped liberate. Any world that wants to join is welcome, as equals, not subjects. This is your last chance, Dr. Green added. Recognize the independence of any world that wants it, or watch your empire tear itself apart. Vale reached for his weapon, but found his hand frozen in midair. What? Quantum field technology, Wilson explained. We've had units in your palace for weeks. So, what's it going to be? A peaceful transition, or do we keep helping every world in your empire break free one at a time? The Imperial Council looked at each other, then at their frozen security chief. The choice was clear. 1,000 years of imperial rule was ending not with a massive battle, but with the simple spread of a powerful idea: freedom. Wilson turned to someone off-screen. Send word to all commands. Phase 6 is complete. Begin final operations. The revolution wasn't just spreading. It was winning. 1 year after the Imperial Council's surrender, Admiral Wilson stood at a podium in the newly built Galactic Assembly on Earth. The massive hall was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds, former imperial planets, independent systems, and even some imperial worlds that had chosen to join the new alliance peacefully. When the Empire first came to Earth, Wilson began, they thought they found a primitive world easy to conquer. Instead, they found something they'd never seen before, a species that refused to accept limitations. In the audience, Dr. Green sat next to delegates from worlds Earth had helped free. The former slaves now stood tall, wearing the proud colors of their independent planets. Lieutenant Davis, now Captain Davis, commanded the honor guard of mixed human and alien crews. Earth didn't want an empire. Wilson continued. We didn't want to rule anyone. We just wanted to be free. And when we saw others in chains, we knew we had to help them be free too. The massive view screen behind him showed scenes from the past year, imperial warships being transformed into trading vessels, former slave worlds building their own quantum shield networks, Earth scientists teaching other species how to develop their own technology rather than just copying others. Today, we're not here to create a new empire, Wilson said. We're here to make sure no empire can ever threaten freedom again. Dr. Green stood up, holding the small device. At her signal, quantum projectors activated, showing a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Nearly 70% of former imperial space now shone with the blue light of independent systems. The Interstellar Rights Council is now in session, she announced. Every world gets one vote. Every species has an equal voice, and Earth's first vote is to pass the Freedom of Development Act, guaranteeing every world the right to advance at their own pace in their own way. From his seat in the audience, former Commander Vale watched with a mixture of amazement and resignation. He now served as a liaison between the remaining imperial worlds and the free systems. I still don't understand, he said quietly to Wilson after the session. How did you advance so quickly? How did you beat our technology? Wilson smiled. Because you stopped advancing. You found one way to do things and stuck to it for 1,000 years. Humans never stop looking for new ways, new ideas, new possibilities. The next speaker was President Thompson, now serving as Earth's representative to the Council. The Quantum Corridor Network is now open to all member worlds, she announced. Free trade, free travel, free exchange of ideas. But more importantly, we've established the Galactic Defense Fleet. The view screen showed ships from 100 worlds, all equipped with Earth's quantum technology, but modified by each species to match their own style and needs. Any member world that's threatened can call for help, Thompson explained. The entire fleet will respond. Never again will one power be able to dominate others through force. As the session continued, Wilson walked through the assembly halls. He passed classrooms where humans taught quantum physics to alien students. He saw medical bays where Earth doctors worked with alien healers, combining their knowledge to help everyone. In the space dock above Earth, the EDS Prometheus was being refitted for its new role as a training vessel. Soon it would carry crews from different worlds, teaching them not just how to use advanced technology, but how to think in new ways. "Admiral," Dr. Green called out, hurrying to catch up with him. "We're getting signals from beyond Imperial space. Other civilizations have heard about what happened. They want to join the Council." Wilson nodded. "Tell them all are welcome, as equals." As the sun set over the assembly building, Wilson looked up at the stars. The Empire had thought they were coming to conquer a primitive world. Instead, they'd awakened something much more powerful than any empire, the human spirit of freedom, now spreading unstoppably across the galaxy. Earth had declared no entry to the Galactic Empire, and in doing so, had opened the door to a whole new age of liberty for all species. The end.